Everybody's done it sometime in their lives. We all slip. We don't mean to. That don't mean you can't make it right. It's the path you take, the steps you make that make you who you are. It's the life you live that gives you again the love that's in your heart. Just try to do the best you can to be a better man. You don't have to walk on water. It's how you walk on land. Everybody judges everybody else. Everybody's done it to everyone but themselves. And we know what's right. We still go wrong, and life still goes on, even when we fail. It's the path you take, the steps you make that make you who you are. It's the life you live that gives you again the love that's in your heart. Just try to do the best you can to be a better man. You don't have to walk on water. It's how you walk on land. Path you take, the steps you make that make you who you are. It's the life you live that gives you the love that's in your heart. Just try to do the best you can to be a better man. You don't have to walk on water. It's how you walk on land. You don't have to walk on water. It's how you walk on land.
Okay, so we've got to do this. We're going to do this. Let's hope that others join us very soon. There has been Success Bread Seminar live and direct, reaching you from Lagos, Nigeria, here in West Africa. We do this every month, speaking to the world, especially youths and young adults. We do everything possible to keep them motivated, inspired, and encouraged, especially in the society we are today, how things are, and how times is unfolding. So men need a lot of courage, especially young people need a lot of inspiration to sustain them in the school of life. And that is why we volunteer through the instrument of inspiration to do this. My name remains Benson Adima. I'm a motivational speaker, a teacher, an author, a counselor, and a coach. I focus on personal development and peak performance. Today, we have a very interesting person who is coming to share with us, not just share with us, but to guide us on a right direction as a young people who seek to get direction as we go in life. So today we have a very trending and a competitive person. It was really a privilege to have her, but very unfortunately we don't have enough people for a start here, but that doesn't bother us anymore because we're going to have a replay of this. It's streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook. So we're going to have thousands of people watching it days later, in months, and in years to come. So I don't do this alone. I do this with a team of young men called the Team of Success Bred. They are very wonderful and amazing young people, about 6 of us who we do this together. Most times they don't permit me to mention their names on the stage, but either way, somehow I'm going to come across them later. Well, thank you so much, Success Bred team. And also, there are also men and women who commit their hard-earned resources to also sponsor this program. Their time, they committed to encourage us. Their resources, they committed to also enable us to do 1 or 2 things to make this program run throughout the year. We have these people in no particular order, but I would love us to just always appreciate them for the great job they do. They believe so much in us and made this possible. I always try as much as possible to mention their name, but today I would just love to bring their name to the screen. We have Foley-M Systems. Foley-M is into ICT and accessories, and we have a Puzzle Health and Beauty, which is into anything beauty, especially for women, and things for toiletries, kitchen things that our mothers used to wash and to keep the kitchen beautiful and so on. They're doing that. And then we have a Rodin Health Limited. Rodin Health Limited, also a HMO organization, is into health insurance. They are doing very well in that aspect, providing a free health services to some extent. And then we have Agbenda Media, which is into indoor and outdoor advertising. They are doing a good job of handling a large media coverage, a large media outdoor and indoor advertising. And we also have in no particular order, Making the Eagle. And Making the Eagle is a non-governmental organization that is committed to helping young people to find their path in mentors who have experience in different industries to make them better for their future. So these are organizations. I would look forward to more organizations. If you have organization in mind who you think is good enough to or is ready to be part of us or to help us with what we do, why not suggest to us? And if you have your organization who partner in any way, you are very much welcome. So having done this, I don't want to take much of our time anymore. I have kept our guest speaker waiting for a while. We know when you have people who keep to their time, you have gotten people who you should look up to as mentor, as director. And so, honestly speaking, from the day I met her up to today, I always look up to her one way or the other, not just to learn from her, but also to be able to secure a mentorship opportunity from her, even though that has not been established, but I'm looking forward to that happening soon because the relationship is getting better by day. So I just want to read to us briefly a profile of the person we have today. And in fact, I need not mention much because when you hear her speak, you understand what exactly I'm talking about. And her name is, permit me to mention your name in public now, I didn't disrespect you. Her name is Kenny Oye. She's a career doctor, a HR professional, a trainer, and a speaker. She's based in UK. All the way from there, she gave us this opportunity to have her today. She's probably known as a career doctor. This is a mandate she did cover as a mandate that God has given to her in life to help, especially female professionals who are fed up and frustrated with their secular job to find their feet and to be happy with what they do. Like I said, she's a HR professional and someone who has found her ground. She could be called an authority in that industry. And working as a HR, he has led a multi-million pounds a project in UK. And I'm talking of something of 160 million project, £1 million a project, which has transferred the employees of that organization into one of the biggest cardiovascular center in the entire Europe. And also this talented, she's also into talent management, mentoring and coaching aspiring HR practitioners, and she volunteers a lot in many organizations. Where we met for the first time, it was at Speak for Good, a program by Fela Drotoye. She's one of the leading lights there, who not only was a student, but immediately after the program, she was transformed into one of the key members. When I mean a key member, I mean one of the spotlights in that program, and I'm looking forward to see her becoming one of the speakers and moderator in that program very, very soon. Certificate-wise, she has a formal qualification, a BA Honor and MBA International in HR, and she also has diploma in leadership. She's an experienced and a qualified coach, a chartered member of a Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development. That is the personnel management body in UK or in Europe. I don't want to take much of the time to read all, but what I can say is that she's also interested in helping young people, the teenagers, and she is a child of God and a mother of two. She enjoys traveling around. And maybe I have said a lot, but I want us to meet her briefly. Please, ma'am. The people are eager and the stage is set. Can you please let us meet you briefly?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It really is a pleasure to be here this afternoon. But I really just want to say two things, that I've got about 20 minutes to speak and then 10 minutes for Q&A. But before I do that, I just want to firstly thank God, because he's the reason why we're here. He's the reason why we live, we move, we have our being in Christ. So I really firstly want to thank God for this opportunity to be here. And even if there's one person on this platform, for me, it's good enough, because I think sometimes we like the large and big and the supernatural. We look to the big stuff. But you know, when God ordains your steps in a certain way, he makes people listen to things. He puts people in the right place at the right time, is what I'm saying. So for as many people that are here this afternoon, I congratulate you and I say well done and thank you so much for being here today. It really is a privilege to be here, because each time I'm called to say something or share some of my knowledge, it really is an opportunity for God to reach out to the lives of people that I'm speaking to. So it's always a privilege. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you to the people who are on this platform, and most importantly, thank God. I'll start by saying about 5 years ago, I never in my wildest dreams could have imagined that I would be speaking to the world. Never. It just never occurred to me 5 years ago. But one thing changed. And that thing was my mother passing on, right? So my mother died. And then I started to ask God about the reason why I'm here on earth and what is it that I'm to do. Now, don't, like you said, right? I've worked in HR, in the HR space for over 20 years. That's a long time. That's a very long time. I've learned, I've grown, I've developed, and it's an area where I just love what I do in HR, in the HR space. And of course, HR covers a wide range of things. So, most people hear HR and they go, oh, is that recruitment? Well, it goes beyond that. It's not just recruitment, it's policy, it's training, it's development, it's business planning, it's strategy, it's so many different strands that I can say, there's employee relations, there's just coaching, there's so much to do with HR. And to the glory of God, I have been privileged to have worked in several capacities doing what I love doing. But what changed for me was my mother's passing. And I started to think, oh, why am I here? And then in that process, I discovered I realized that I went through a process to discover the work, my dream work. Okay. And I did that without even knowing that was the process. And that's what I want to share with you today. It's about how do you find that job that allows you to be you? The job that allows you to show up as your true self. And I say that with every sense of understanding of the workplace. Now, I've come across a number of different people in the workplace, and I can categorize them. So wherever you are in the whole world, it doesn't matter whether you're in Nigeria, UK, America, it doesn't matter where you are. The same principles apply. And these same 4 categories are the same regardless of what continent, what context, what culture you exist in. And I'll say there are 4 different types of workers, right? The first group are the people who know what they want to do. They're very clear on what they should be doing, but they're not doing it. They're not doing it because they've put up barriers in their head. They've put up limiting beliefs. They procrastinate. And they're not taking that step to doing the very thing that they should be doing. And what happens to those people in the workplace? They often show up as a bit frustrated. They're always angry. They're always, fighting other people in the workplace because they're frustrated that they know what they want to do, but they've not been, I wouldn't say they haven't been given the opportunity, but they've not explored themselves enough to go ahead and do it. The second set of people are the people who don't know what they want to do and they're not doing it. And those are the people that are very confused. So they have no idea what they should be doing and they're not doing it. So they take any job. Any job is fine. Any job is okay. They apply for a job, they get it, they do it, they don't like it because they're not even sure what they should be doing. So they end up confused. The third set of people are the comfortable people. They tend to be very comfortable in what they're doing. So they're not necessarily doing the work that they were created to do. And they're just doing the work for the sake of maybe money, maybe status, but they're comfortable doing it. So those are the people that come Friday, they're happy it's Friday, they're comfortable with their life, they earn a good living, they're okay. Those people are people in their comfort zone and they just tend not to like to rock the boat. And the only reason why they would find something else to do is because they're bored and they're just looking for something else. And the final set of people are the people who are very fulfilled, right? So they know what they want to do and they're doing it, and they are there doing the work that plays to their strengths. So they're positioned in the perfect career match, and they're fulfilled. And those people show up to work very, very creative. They show up very excitable. They show up engaged. They love doing what they're doing. They're there and they're present. Those are the fulfilled people. Now, it takes some time to move into that fulfilled place. And I don't want to ask, I mean, if we had time, I would want to ask everyone on this call about how many of us are in that fulfilled state? How many of us can categorically say, I'm doing the work that I was created to do, and I love it, and it's amazing? How many people can really say that? And I think there are very few people who can actually say, I love doing what I do, and it fulfills me and it fills me, and I just love it. And even if you didn't pay me, I would do this job, even if you didn't pay me, because I love it so much. I'm passionate about it. Very few people can say that. And that's where we need to get to. We need to get to a place where we are thriving in the workplace, because if you don't find that box in terms of the job that you're created to do, you'll end up always looking, always angry. That all those things, that all those attributes that I put to people who are comfortable, frustrated, and confused will accrue to those people. So we need to find fulfillment in the workplace. Sadly, most of us have missed it, because what we've done is right from the time that we finished secondary school, we went off to university. Now, for some people, it was a case of, I'm just going to do any subject to get into university because that's what's been offered to me. For some people, it's, I have no idea what I want to do. I'm just going to go to university and study anything. For some people, it's their parents who has said to them, I want you to study law or accounting or medicine because of the status attached to those traditional subjects. And what happens is, when you do that for the wrong reason, you end up in all those boxes other than fulfilled. Particularly if you're in a job now and you're doing the job for money, and you think, oh, I'm looking for more money, so I'm just going to apply for another job. You're always going to be going round in that same circle, because you haven't found what you were meant to do. I'm just going to share with you something very briefly, and it's called the Johari window. The Johari window is a tool we often use in HR management. And it has 4 boxes, right? 4 quadrants. And in each box, it typifies things about us. So in one of the boxes, it talks about the arena. So the arena explains, the box arena says, there are things about you that other people know about you, and you also know about you. So that's in the arena. Everyone understands. So Kemi is a woman. I know I'm a woman. Everyone else knows I'm a woman. That's in the arena. Okay, that's obvious and glaring for everyone to know. And then we have the blind spot, right? Our blind spot. And these are things that are known to other people, but unknown to me. So there'll be things that you know or you don't know about you that other people know about you. And the reason why this is because they've observed you for a number of years. So there's a whole lot of observation going on, right? For example, let's assume that I didn't know that I was Black, for example. let's assume that I was under an illusion that I was white. Other people can see that I'm black. So they would tell me, oh, Kemi, you're black. That box is called the blind spot, right? Then the third box is called the facade. And these are things that I know about myself, but no one else knows about me. These are things I keep to myself. These are deep things that I know about me, but no one else knows. A, because I've not shared it, or B, because it's just not in the open, it's not in the arena. And then the final box is called the unknown. Okay, the unknown box is things that are not known to you, to me, maybe, and things that other people don't know about me. That's the unknown box. And where I'm going with this is that we've all got that. We've all got a box that says, there are things about me that I don't know. And there are things about me that other people do not know. And that is why it's important to go on a discovery journey. And when I talk to you about discovering my own purpose-driven career, I went through this process to discover, and I call it the 3D framework. Now, what's in the unknown box? There are things about me that I didn't know 2 years ago that I now know. And there's a phase that you're going to have to go through, and I call it my 3D framework to finding the work that you were born to do, to finding your dream job. It's a process. There are 3 steps to it. It's discovery, deploy, and develop. In the discovery phase, this is where you've got to think about these 4 things. I call it the 4S code. It's a code, and you need to break that code to discover. The first S is self. You need to understand yourself very clearly. Who are you? What makes you tick? What makes you angry? What's your DNA? What is it about you that just is amazing? What is it about you that's not so amazing? You need to go on a journey to discover who you truly are. In Christ is what I say. You need to go on a journey to be aware of yourself. Because if you're not aware of yourself, you would do things for the wrong reasons. And I'll give you an example. If you are somebody who gets impatient and you like teaching, but you get very impatient. Every time you teach someone and they don't understand, that relationship's going to fall down and you're always going to be angry. Unless you come to the realization that, hold on, I'm an impatient person. So what do I need to do to become more patient? How do I resolve that to become patient so that I can be effective in my teaching? That's something that you're going to have to explore. And that's what I mean by self, knowing yourself, right? When you know yourself, it's just amazing how things work. The second S is your story. So what's your story been? And I'm still on the discovery phase, right? This is discovering the work that you were born to do. So you need to know yourself. That's number 1. Number 2 is you need to think about your story. So what have you been through in your life? What are the things that are your pain points, for example? So have you been treated badly? What exactly have you been through? What are some of the painful moments, painful experiences that you've been through? And when you look at some of those things, it's for you to bless other people. It's for you to bless humanity. It's for you to do something about it so that other people behind you do not suffer what you've suffered. So you know when they say there's pain in purpose, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's your story. So there's value in your story. The third thing, the third S, is the solutions that you're drawn to. So for example, what I mean by that is this. Most times when we are walking in life or doing what we're doing, we come across problems, we see problems, and only us see those problems. So I'll give you an example. Maybe I'm going down the road and I'm walking with my husband, and all of a sudden I see a young child with no clothes on and the weather's cold. And I start shouting, oh my goodness, have you seen that child? They've got no clothes on. Da, 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 da. And my husband's just looking at me like, and so what? And I'm drawn to things like that. That's an indication that actually I'm drawn to, there's something drawing me to seeing people all the time with no clothes on, or they lack clothes and they need care and attention. There's something there because I'm the one who sees it. My husband doesn't see it. They see it, but they don't think it's a problem. When you see something and you're looking for a solution to that problem, then that's an indication of, again, where you should be. And the most important S of all, this is the 4S code. The most important S of all is the source, your source. And that is thinking about, who is your source? You need to go to your source to know why you're here on earth. And these are the things that I went through to discover the work that I was created to do. When you have let's assume, okay, let me use this pen as an example. I've got a pen and I decide I'm hungry, I want to eat, and I start to use this as a spoon because I'm hungry and I don't have a spoon around me. Now, I may be able to use this spoon in a way that helps me eat my food, but it won't do the job because it's not created for a spoon. It's not a spoon. It can't fulfill the role of a spoon. And likewise, we as individuals, we need to go to our maker, our creator, to find out why we were created. We need to go to our source. So if you believe God is your source, then you need to go to God and say, why am I here? What did you make me for? Because before you were formed, before you showed up on planet Earth, he gave you, he made you, he created you for a particular assignment, for a particular work. Just as he did Adam, when Adam showed up, he said to Adam, look after the garden. He gave him work to do. God has given us work to do, and we must find out what that work is. So those are the 4 ways that you can discover the type of work that you were created to do. It's no good saying, everyone's doing IT, everyone's doing this. What will happen is you'll do it, you'll make money, but you will never be satisfied. You'll do it, you make money, but you'll never be satisfied. And there'll always be more. There'll always be that gap. Don't forget, you'll either end up frustrated, confused, or comfortable, not fulfilled, never fulfilled. Okay? The second stage, talking about the 3D framework, is the deploy. That simply is a word that I've made up. It's a combination of design and deploy. Design is about, okay, I know all these things about me now. How can I start to design a career or a job or what looks like that matches who I am? And you go through that process of elimination. So this, I think this is a good fit. Then you deploy yourself to it. Okay, so where can I start to apply for work in this area? And the third stage is you develop. It's no good being an amazing singer, for example. Let's say I'm gifted in singing and I've discovered I'm meant to be singing. I've designed it so that I'm singing in a particular way, a particular genre, and I'm singing and I'm getting along. If I do not develop myself, I will be left behind in terms of things would have moved on and I would still be doing things in the way that I did 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So you need to constantly develop and stretch yourself. This is where you move out of your comfort zone and you move into the stretch zone. So you're literally doing more of what you're doing, but you're stretching yourself. You're learning, you're developing. And this is the place where you need people like coaches, mentors to show you how to get there. This is the place where you need a career vision to say, this is what I would like to do and when by, and this is how I'm going to do it. So that's in simple, I mean, because of time, I can't go beyond what I've just shared, but that's a really simple way to find out the work that you were born or created to do. It's a 3-step process, but don't forget, there are things that you don't know about you and other people don't know about you. Until you go down that path to discover the work that you were created to do, you will end up frustrated, confused, fed up, all the words that say everything but fulfilled. So it's really important that you find the work that you were created to do, because that very work is solving someone's problem. That very work is for you to be a blessing, because that's why we are created. We're blessed to be a blessing. And I go back to scriptures because this is what I depend on most all the time. You know, scriptures say you are the light of the world, not the light of your room, not the light of your house, not the light of your family, not the light of your community, not the light of your road, not the light of your street, not the light of your country, not the light of your community. You are the light of the world.
Mm.
And if you're the light of the world has to see you. You have to show up in the world. But until you find that work, you're never going to be the light of the world. You're just going to be the light of your family, looking after your family, and it's typical that, you know, people who are doing well. I'll say one more thing before I stop about success. Typically in the workplace, when people have really good jobs and they're earning money and they've got a good house, a good car, people tend to characterize all of those things with success. But I'll give you an example. So I've got a son and a daughter. I've got a daughter called Tony. If I said to Tony, Tony, I've got some monies. Let me assume I give her 100 naira to go and buy me a bottle of Coke, right? Because I really want Coke. I just love Coke and I want it at that particular point in time. She goes to the shops and she's speaking to the shop owner. And the shop owner says, "Oh, Tony, have you seen these really good deals?" And she goes, "Oh, yeah, I've seen it, but my mom asked me to buy Coke." And they say, "Oh, no, look at this, look at that. I've got biscuits, 3 for the price of 1. What a bargain." My daughter gets carried away, Tony gets carried away, and then she says, "Oh, fantastic. This is a really good deal. 3 for the price of 1. That should have cost me 200 naira, but it's costing me 100 naira. Actually, I'm going to buy the biscuits because it's a bargain." Tony buys the biscuits and comes home. And I say to her, "Oh, Tony, where's the Coke?" And she says, "Oh, Mom, I went to the shops and I found these biscuits. It was 3 for the price of 1. Oh, it's amazing. They're new biscuits on the market. It's costing..." What do you think I would say to her? Chances are I would say, "I didn't want biscuits. I wanted Coke. That's not what I needed when I asked you to go to the shop." In the same token, in the same way, God has asked us to show up on planet Earth. He's brought us to planet Earth for a particular reason. We've come to planet Earth. God has said maybe accountancy is your thing. You show up in the world. Your parents tell you, "Oh, you need to do law." And you think, "Well, I don't quite fancy law. Maybe I'll do computer sciences," because your friends are doing computer sciences. And you don't find out what you're meant to be doing. So you go through life doing all these things and you end up doing computer sciences because there's a lot of money there. And then you end up going through life being less of a blessing than you would if you waited to discover that accountancy was your real thing and you could be a blessing to organizations, multinational organizations, because they need your expertise. They need you. They need your personality. They need your talent. They need everything you could have been if you stayed in the lane that God placed you as an accountant. So you've showed up on planet Earth, you're doing computer sciences, you're taking up someone else's space, doing what someone else should be doing. You're encroaching on someone else's space because you're in the wrong place. And then you finish, you go through life, you acquire all these things. And at the end of the day, when you go back to your maker and he says, welcome home, is he going to say, well done, because you achieved what you were meant to achieve on earth? Or is he going to say, go back because you haven't accomplished what I asked you to do? A lot of people talk about money. I had somebody say to me, oh, but money's important. Of course, money's important. But if you make money your priority, you will get lost. Because if money is the reason why you are following things or doing things, money will mislead you. And it will get to a place where money will fail you. It won't work. What I said to this person that I had a conversation with recently is, you do what you were meant to do what you're brilliant at, and money will look up, will follow you. It should be the other way around. I shouldn't have to be chasing money. Money should be chasing me because I am positioned where God has placed me to be, and the blessings have to flow. The blessing has to flow to me, not me running after the blessing. That's not how God created it. That's not how God intended for it to happen. I have to be in a position where God has placed me, and money has to be finding me. You might sit there and say, well, I can't just leave my job and do what I feel God has called me to do. Of course, you shouldn't. I think it would be stupid to just chuck your job and go and do something else. There's a process that you need to follow. There's a process that would allow you to transition from what you're doing to what you should be doing. And it's really my prayer that the Lord will direct your steps. As you've listened to, it's a very short message, but I pray that the Lord will guide you, and you would yield to God, yield to him to teach you and guide you and lead you in the way to go. Because it's not, at the end of the day, on the last day, will he say, well done, because you were too busy carried away running after money and all these things? Or will he say, well done, you did what I asked you to do? Like my daughter, Tony, comes home with a bottle of Coke and I say, thank you very much. Or actually, Tony, that's not what I told you to do. Either go back and return it, or don't bother, you've just disappointed me. It's called defective success. When you are in a place where God hasn't assigned you to do, it seems successful. People say you're successful because you're making money, you're doing all these things, but actually it's defective because that's not where you're meant to be. So I pray that the Lord will guide you and help you get to where you need to get to. Yeah, in Jesus' name. God bless you, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I think we've either lost Benson or I think he's, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat box and I will be happy to take your questions. We've just got a few minutes left. I would say about 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, put it in the chat box and I'll be happy to, or you can just unmute yourself and ask the question. I think that would work as well.
Well, no question from me. I just want to comment that I think the session was very profound, information very apt, and very soul searching as well. Thank you very much. That's what I want to say.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Ah. I think he's
I'll try and reach him and see.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, Benson is having problems with his internet. I just got him on phone, but he says he had asked Moses to step in for him.
Okay. So yes, of course, we can ask questions. We have until about 5 minutes past.
Yes, yes, ma. Good evening, ma.
Good evening. Good evening.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, very clearly.
We can.
Yeah, sorry, it's called distorted network kind of now. I just received a call from him also.
Okay.
It's time for question.
Okay, for the benefit of everybody, I don't know if you can hear me, Kemi. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, so I just came up with a question now, yeah, and I'm hoping all of us will benefit from it because I think Moses is also having network challenges.
Yeah.
Yes. So you spoke about the 3 S's,
Yes.
I'll call it self-actualization or self-discovery. And I know the last is source. I don't really remember what the second S is, but do you have a tool or something that one can use to plug in, or how do we go about the journey? So I know the source is that is very simple for us that are Christians. We know going back to the source what it means, but how do we, do you have any tool that can actually help one to
so I don't have one I only use it for the clients that I I only use it for my clients, so I don't necessarily have it to hand to give. It's something that I use on my clients particularly. But what I am doing for this month is I've recently started a community, and it's called the Career Fitness Club. And a lot of the things that I talk about would relate to some of these things. So if you just reach out to Benson, he'll give you the link. And I'm most likely going to have a seminar on the 18th where I share a few things. So hopefully we'll share a bit more, but I don't have anything to give to hand. No, I don't. No. So it was stories.
Okay, that's fine.
Self and source.
Sorry,
Okay.
I didn't get that.
It was story, solutions, self, and source. Those.
All right, that's fine.
The final. I'm just going to take this last question before I go because I've got another meeting I've got to go to. I think Jude is asking, can you please share practical steps to move from what you're doing into what you should be doing? Very great question. Great question. I get asked this a lot of the time. So for example, you are a teacher. I'll just use this as an example so you get it, and it's easy to use examples. So you're a teacher at the moment and you're meant to be, let's assume, a chef, for example, just an example, yeah? And you're teaching and you're not really satisfied, but you're doing it because of course you've got to pay your bills, you've got to do all the rest. You've studied, you've got your degree and all of that, studying, and you've got the experience. That's fine. You need to have a career vision for the other bits that you want to do. So for being a chef, what is your vision? So where do you see yourself? So who do you want to be? And what do you want to do in the future? So you need to have a vision of that, and it needs to be really clear using the SMART tool that we often use. So it has to, so your vision has to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Once you have that vision set, you then have to put in place milestones or steps to get there. Okay. So what you then do is, for example, you teach 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, you must have a 5 to 9 process of going through what you're going to do as a chef. So your 5 to 9 or 6 to 9 or 7 to 9 or 8 to 9, whatever it is, after you close your day job should be the time that you're building. So you need to be able to build outside of your 9 to 5. You shouldn't really use your employer's time to build your business because that's theft. What you do is in the evening, so I finish teaching at 5. Let's assume I've got a family, so I relax, I eat, I do all those things up until maybe 7 o'clock. From about 7:30 to 9 o'clock every day, 1 hour and a half, you start to build on, right, I want to be a chef. What's my menu going to look like? What customers am I going to have? What food am I going to be making? What am I going to specialize in? Am I going to be a generalist, so I do all foods? Or I'm just going to be a specialist in jollof rice, for example? Or what exactly does that look like? What does my vision tell me? And you need to start building on that. You need to start putting some money aside, even if it's very minimal. Start putting some money aside towards learning, towards growing. You need to start thinking, okay, who are the key players in the industry? Who are the chefs that you like? Who are the people that you really like and you want to be like? Then you connect to them, plug into them, learn from them, develop. And that's all you do in your 7:30 to 9 o'clock or whatever it is. It's all about that development, about that learning. Look for opportunities to start cooking. Look for opportunities where you start to cook. Maybe you take your cooking to work, for example, and you do a sample. Right, guys, I'm doing this side business. I cook. It's free for, I don't know, 1 or 2 times. The next time you're saying, nope, I'm selling it. You've got to buy it. And that's how you start. Before you know it, you're selling to people at work. You're selling to people outside of work. You're distributing to other organizations, whether it's lunch, you're able to do that. And before you know it, you're expanding. You may get to a point where you now reduce your hours at work because you're making enough money to do that, until you get to a point where you break even and you decide, right, it's time for me to chuck this in, the teaching in, because this other thing is fulfilling. It's giving me what I do. It's giving me what I want. It's giving me the fulfillment that I need. So that's the process. You don't just leave the teaching and go, right, God has told me what to do and I'm doing it. No, it doesn't work. You will suffer, like you will beg. It doesn't work like that. So you need to have a transition plan to move from where you are to where you want to be. And I hope that answers the question. Okay. So I'm going to have to go because I am quite late for my next meeting, but I hope that's been helpful. And I thank you once again, Benson, for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you greatly, Ma. Honestly, I can't afford to keep you back anymore. I really appreciate you, and God bless you for us. I look forward to see you speak in United Nations and in the biggest organization in China and co.
Thank you. I will do. I'm sure I will very
Thank you
soon.
dearly.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Right. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, sirs and mas. I thank you, everybody, for being there. And also thank you for holding forth for me, especially when my network struggled. I really appreciate you. You might not permit me to mention your name one by one, but I can see each and every one of you. Thank you for keeping faith with us. This is what we do to make sure we encourage a young man with a view to increase their corporate productivity, to become better men and women. Because the truth is that if we have young men and women who are highly motivated, it will reduce the human hazard in our society. This is our belief. It was a spirit of motivation that was injected into the Americans that made them believe they are the best in the world. So our goal is to get Nigerian and African to believe that they are the best in the world, and they will begin to live to that standard. Until then, we are not going to stop motivating them with little and the bigger resources that God has blessed us with. So to crown this up, I really want to quickly appreciate our sponsors. Before we finally draw the curtain, we have our sponsors in the name of a sponsor and partner in these names that you could see on the screen. They are our people who contribute their resources, their time and energy to make this happen every month. And to crown it all, towards the end of this year, by the month of this month, we are October and November, we are running a very big program where it's going to be public speaking competition. We're going to bring young men from across Nigeria and outside Nigeria to come and compete for a position of a champion of public speaking. The award is going to go for 1 million naira. We're putting the final touches on that program to make sure we bring it on very, very soon to engage the young men. I think this is a little glance of what we are doing in that regard. Once we are done with the touches, you see all our sponsors listed here and everything. So thank you so much for being there. Thank you, Stars and Ma. We really appreciate you, Success Bread team, and everybody that is going to watch this program later. And thank you once again to Mrs. Kemi Oye, all the way from United Kingdom, who has taken out of her busy schedule. She has about 3 speaking engagements today. Honestly, she just have to cut out time to be part of this, and we really appreciate her for that, and God will bless her for us. And also, there are other big persons I must all see already that their name is coming to mind through the instrument of inspiration. We're going to get them to come and share with us their journey so far, their experience that will help young people to come out of their cocoon. So God bless you. But I must tell you, in the month of October, we're going to bring one of the biggest person, another big person, let me not say biggest, another big person, because we have not seen the biggest person yet. Until we bring the president of the country, the president of United Kingdom, USA, into this platform, we are not going to see the biggest of the person. But I'm telling you, in the month of October, we're going to bring in a big fish, very big person in this society to come and speak to us, and you don't want to miss it for anything. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend. Love you. Success Bread and the team say thank you. That will be it.